Well, let's have a look at how we might tackle this part. And we'll see how it goes, but I suspect we might have to do this in two separate videos if it involves a lot of thinking and talking. Here is the assignment image, and here's what our author is recommending as a cutting plane location. And so I have drawn, or I have shown my 3D view in the orientation that he shows. Now, this isometric view is not oriented the same direction. So here is a classic example of that visualization skill of rotating the part in your mind, mentally rotating it. That is a challenging visualization skill, and it takes a lot of practice. Some people have it come naturally. Some people struggle with it. Some really good designers struggle with it. So if you're in that camp, you're in good company. If you wanted to, if it were easier for you, you could draw this part, how do I want to say, flipped 180 degrees. So instead of the vertical leg on the right, you could draw your part with the vertical leg on the left, then the horizontal leg sticking out, which would more closely match what this isometric view is doing. You would not have to do so much mental rotation, and that would be totally fine. You're the drafter, and you get to decide what you want for the front view and what direction you want to show. I'm going to try and be tricky and show what he recommends as a viewing direction, and we'll see how it goes. So let's go to a blank model space here. Now if I'm going to make this vertical leg on the right and this horizontal leg sticking out to the left, like he's showing for some inexplicable reason, what I want to think about first is what is just the most basic beginning geometry of this shape. Well, it's an L, isn't it? And this L is, according to this, it's 1 inch thick and it's 3 inches wide from the front to the back, or the top to the bottom. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come over here and get a line, and I'm going to be smart and make sure ortho is on, ortho button or F8. Okay. And now I'm going to just draw this leg. I'm going to go up 3 inches and over 1 inch. So I'll get a line, L for line. I'll just draw. And because ortho is on, this will be a little easier. I'll go up, I'll enter a 3, enter. Then I'll come over 1, enter, and down 3, enter. And enter again to end the line command. So there's my vertical leg. That is this thing here. Or looking at our 3D model, I just started this thing here. Now I'm going to start this horizontal leg here. And that horizontal leg is, how thick is that thing? Wow. Looks like it's 1/2 inch thick. And it's 5 5/8 long from the back corner out to the start of well, the center line of this slot. It's not to the end of the part, but just to the center line of the slot. So, you know what? I think I'm going to use offset to locate where my center line is going to land. So I'm going to offset, O for offset. What is the offset distance? 5 5/8, 5.625, enter. And I'll select this line and offset out this away. Okay. Now I'm going to draw this horizontal leg, and I'm going to make it 1/2 inch thick. And I don't yet know how far it is out to the end of the round nose. I know I could figure it out, but let's say I don't know. So I'm just going to draw a line, horizontal line, and I'll just go out here a ways. I'll trim it later. And now I will use offset, or O for offset, and now my offset distance will be 1/2 or 0.5. Enter. And now I'll click that line, click that line. Okay, there is the beginning of my L shape. And I think to keep things simple for my little pea brain, I will do a trim. I'll just hit enter to select all as the cutting edges. And I will just trim out those two lines so that I can begin to see where my object is. Now, I'd like to find out how wide is this thing, because I want to start the top view. It's 2.5 inches wide. All right. So up here, if I can, I will pick up with my green ghost line, with my object snap tracking. I'll start my line there. And I'll go over here a ways, I don't know how far, enter. And now because my part is 2.5 inches wide, I'm going to do O for offset and specify a distance of 2.5, enter. Offset. And I can now I could use my object snap tracking. I sometimes get insecure and don't. Let's see if that will work. Oh, yay. That's great. If it didn't work, I would just draw a line starting here, going up here, and then I would trim. Now, this temporary line here that I drew, remember that is the center line of this upper radius. So I think I will get that going up here in my top view, so I know where my radius is going to be. Now, if this thing is 2.5 inches wide, well, it doesn't matter how wide it is. I'm going to draw a center line. Oops, sorry. That was a mistake. I'm going to draw a center line right up the middle of my part. Come out here a ways. There's where the center of my radius thing will be. And now I think I will put this radius nose out here. And that has a radius of 3/4. I find the easiest way to do that is just to make a circle and trim it. So C for circle, specify the center point. I don't trust those O snaps. What I really want is an intersection, so I'm going to go Shift right mouse to bring up this temporary menu intersection. So I make darn sure I get my circle right there. And the circle, this says specify radius, so good. What I know is the radius, so I will type 0.75. There's the radius. Woohoo! Now, let's see how far this skinny part goes. It's 3 inches from the back edge out to the end of the straight stuff and the start of the slotty stuff. So 3 inches. I'm going to offset from my back wall here 3 inches outward. O for offset. Offset distance is 3. Enter. And I will offset that line. Okay. Why do I do that? Because now I can draw a line from the quadrant point of that circle I made and end it right there. Oh yay. Right there. And now I'm going to do some trimming. I'll just go TR, enter, to make all the lines the cutters. I know that's going to take an extra click or two, but it's okay. So trim, 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 trim. And I'm going to trim out this stuff, hello, out of the middle. And let's see if I can trim my circle. Oh yes. See, that's starting to look like something. Now I can, hello, I would like a quadrant. Shift right mouse, quadrant. Oh, I clicked the wrong one, didn't I? Shift right mouse, quadrant, that one. From there down to here, there's where my nose will end. TR for trim, enter. I'll trim that. Now I can trim those. Ha! Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Now let's look at this slot inside here. Notice how I'm working from general to specific. So I started with the L shape. Now I'm starting to put in the bigger round things. I'm not yet worried about chamfers and fillet radii and holes and all of that. I'm just trying to get the outline of the thing. So inside here, in this slot is, oh my. We have one slot that is a radius of 0.3 and one slot that is a radius, the counterbore, that is a radius of 0.438 or 7/16. So all right, let's do the little one. See, oh, you know what? I should figure out where the slot ends. So we've got 3 5/8 from the back edge to the next slot center line. Let me do that. Offset 3 5/8 from back here to where the slot ends. Okay, now I'm going to go C for circle, click, and my radius is 0.3. Enter to bring the command back. Ooh, not an intersection. Shift right mouse, intersection. And it's already remembering that the radius is 0.3. See that in the command line? So I can just hit enter. Yay! Now let me make the bigger radii for the counterbore thing. So center of the circle is a good O snap. Radius now will be 7/16 or 0.438. Enter to bring up the command again. There's my center O snap, good deal. Same radius again. Ah, look at that. So now I will get a line and I will go from the quadrant point to the quadrant point. Quadrant point to the quadrant point. I'll do that 4 times so I get my slot in here. And now I'm going to trim those circle things. I think I will use these center lines as my trim stuff to make it faster. Oh, looky there. So now we've got some slot going on.